Loosen up, loosen up, loosen up. But nevertheless, this is our nonprofit organization, and we are trying, not trying, you have to watch the words you say, we are transforming the Memphis culture, and so we need your help and your support. Like I said, you rich people in the room, Thousand is spelled THOUSAN, make it to Relationship Unleashed and see Sean at the door. But nevertheless, eat you some food, get you something to drink, get a magazine, TUB magazine. But up next, we'll bring up this woman who's, she's like a Fannie Lou Hamer. She's a firecracker, and she works my nerves, but that's my girl. And she got an old lady who's my mom-in-law now and everything. You know, it's good to laugh. Frowning, too many muscles in your face, make you look ugly when you frown. Nevertheless, I'm gonna bring up this bad woman who's gonna blow you away with her presentation. Make some noise for the G to the Q, my mama, Gwen Clemens.
I tell you, I think I dropped him too many times. What y'all think? Oh, I didn't whoop him enough. Which one is it? Oh.
One more time.
You might be right. You might be right. How y'all doing? Good. So I'm back again. So my part is really simple tonight. So we're going to talk about purpose. And it's so scary. When you work with somebody, it's almost like a relationship. Not even talking, and y'all end up saying the same thing and using the same context. We did that in the magazine this month, this issue out. We had the same biblical quote in our article. I didn't know he was using it, and he didn't know I was using it. So I was like, I'm gonna do my presentation tonight. But that's okay, because what I want to do is back up some of the things that David shared with you with biblical text. You know, most of us like Missouri, the show me state. See, you got to show me, then I believe it, as opposed to what God said, believe it, then I show you. I'm going to say it again. Most of us operate like Missouri, the show me state. Show me, then I believe it. But God said, no, you believe it, then I'll show you. So Damien went through a lot. He gave us a lot of information about purpose and how you find the purpose. And one thing that I want to back up, I give you an illustration. Everybody remember Moses, right? One of the premier figures in our Bible in the Old Testament. Well, remember when Moses went to the mount, and he met God in the burning bush. And God asked Moses, what do you have in your hand? And Moses had a staff, right? And God said, throw it down. And Moses threw it down. What happened to the staff? It turned into a snake. God said, pick it up. Now, what if it's a king cobra? What if it's a rattler? What if it's a water moccasin? How many of you, if God walked in here right now and said, throw it down, and it turned into a snake, how many of you would pick it up? How many of you would pick that snake up? God's standing right here. And God said, pick it up. Okay. But guess what? He picked it up. He picked the staff up, he picked the snake up, and then when he picked it up, it turned back into the staff, right? Well, what was so significant about that staff? What does a shepherd's staff represent? Stay with me. It's how he leads the sheep. And it was significant in that staff because that staff had three things that we all in this room have that we need to learn how to use with our purpose. And I'm going to tell you what they are. It was his identity. It was his symbol. Because back then, income was related to your cattle and your sheep that you own, and his flock, and it was a symbol of influence. So for you sitting in here, you trying to figure out what your purpose is, my question to you is this: what's in your hand? What do you do every day? What's your identity? What's your level of influence with what you do? What do you do with people in the position that you're in? Because everything that Moses did, it was done with that staff. Everything that he did when he split the Red Sea, when he went into Pharaoh's house and he threw that staff down and it turned into a snake, when he turned that water and he turned it into blood, what do you do with what's in your hand? What do you do with it? That's part of your purpose. That's part of your purpose. Think about it. It's something that you have to understand that you do not own anyway. None of the information that you're going to hear today belongs to any presenter up here. Everything that we share with you, we got it from somebody. And the person that we got it from somebody. And the person that they got it from somebody. It does not belong to anybody. Just like your life does not belong to you. But we get so screwed up and we get so twisted and we begin to understand that things are harder than they really should be because we make it complicated. We make our own life complicated with our demands, restrictions, and conditions on what we do, how we do it, and who we do it for. I'm going to tell you how simple it is. And I'm going to tell you how magnificent God is. Yesterday, I had to do prayer and scripture reading. My pastor, he usually send it out in time to give us time to work on what you're going to work on. And I always look for inspiration, not just flip the Bible through. And I got up to go to church, and my wife was on the couch. She did Bedside Baptist. So I was walking through, and I said, "You going to church?" "No." But she was watching Joel Osteen. Joel Osteen on the TV. I walked past the TV, ironing. I was ironing because I was trying to talk to her. And Joel Osteen was talking. And he was talking about King Solomon. And I was like ironing slow because he was telling the story of King Solomon. And in case you don't know, let me share it with you. God came to King Solomon in a dream. And in the dream, God asked King Solomon, I'm going to talk like I'm talking to God, you know, we cool like that. "What you want, man? What do you want?" Now, if God asked some of you what you want, what would you ask for? Come on. What would you ask for, Benita? God said, "What do you want?" That's better than a genie in a bottle. What do you want? Who? What do you want? She said husband. Patience. What do you want, Ravel? You gonna tell God I don't know? What do you want? What do you want, Rachel? God said, "What do you want? What can I do for you?"
Oh gosh. To know some of the secrets of why certain things exist, why certain things happen.
Okay.
Why is the illness the way that it is?
Okay. So, when Solomon was asked that question, he asked for wisdom. But if you read Solomon's prayer, Solomon said, "Increase my territory. Make my name be known all across the land. Give me wealth. Give me fame. Make me famous. Like I want to make it rain." And you would think that that's a vain prayer. But in actuality, Solomon said, "I need these things so I can help my people. So I can help my people. Teach me how to be wise. Give people because I'm going to encounter a lot of people now, God. I need that. So God said, you know what? Well, since you weren't real selfish and you didn't ask for wealth, you didn't ask for all these things for yourself, I'm going to go and give it to you. In that simpleness, you can take a lot from that to understand that when we go to prayer and we give these selfish prayers to God, I love him. I love her. God, fix it for me. God, do it now. God, give me that house. God, give me that car. God, make me rich. Right. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to be a steward of affluence or a steward of influence? What you going to do with it? You got to be real careful when you step out in this world, because remember that there's more things operating in this universe just beside God. Yesterday, I want to be transparent because I think when you're transparent, people can relate and understand because there's somebody in this room just like me. My wife was talking, which is all the time, and she said to me, well, when you left, I had church all by myself, and I praised all over this living room, and I cried, and I cried, and I cried. I said, okay. I said, what you cry about? She said, if I tell you, you're going to laugh. Because I laugh all the time. And I said, no, I'm not. But really, I was like, okay. So she started talking. And the things she shared with me, she said, and tell me probably, I got to make it. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
She said, I got to make it. And I said, why do you feel like that? And she shared with me, and this is talking about her business. And she said, because I just feel like that if I don't, I'm going to be a failure. And I got to make it. And it's just no way around it. So I said, well, Sean, you put too much pressure on yourself because you comparing what it is that you're trying to do with the standards that have been set by the world. And we don't want to measure ourselves by what the world says because it'll drive you crazy. I said, okay, let me explain it to you like this. I said, 3 years ago, we stood in front of our pastor and got married. And when we did our wedding vows, we held each other's hand. And you looked me dead in my eyes and you told me, you take me to be your wife. And you're going to love me through sickness and in health. You're going to love me for better and worse. You're going to love me for rich and poor. And in them vows, why can't you say that to yourself? Why can't you marry yourself to the degree that you want to marry me? Love yourself enough that if I'm rich, I love me. If I'm poor, I love me. If I'm sick, I love me. If I'm healthy, I love me. If things get better, I love me. If things get worse, I love me. That way, I can't have all that pressure that I didn't do or I let myself down. Because if you're going to love me to that degree, baby, you got to love you to that degree. And if you love you to that degree, then you begin to understand that you got to be better stewards over yourself to take care of you. Yes. And in forming the relationships and the things that we try to do for our intimacy, by default, you get a pass. But once you start becoming enlightened, you don't get a pass anymore. And what I mean by that is this. We have to understand that we are not here to be fillers in other people's lives. Wow. We're not. We are here to fill a gap in the universe with our gift and our purpose. That's what God indwelled us to do. The relationship is just an added bonus. But what we've done, we've got so sidetracked on mainstream society and the images that they portray out through TV, reality shows, music, and we come obsessed with finding love. Love ain't gonna come until you get yourself right. That's when love can come, because the only thing that's gonna keep showing up in your life is an example of you all messed up. So if you seeking purpose, everything you do have to have the highest intention with the highest discernment involved in it. You see, I'm married, but the only reason that I'm married is because God gave me somebody to take care of. He loaned her to me. He loaned her to me, and he loaned me to her. From an outward expression we both had about what we needed. She had a need, I had a need, and we came together to fill those needs. And in filling those needs, it had to be some spiritual in there. You cannot do anything without spiritual guidance. You have to have it. And I didn't say religion, because some people are not fans of religion, and that's okay. But spirit has to operate in this, because it's an exchange of energy that have to develop and manifest between you and whoever it is that you are involved with, be it a friend, a family member, or an intimate partner. Those things have to be in existence for you in a relationship. And we go through tiers that we operate in. Most people operate in emptiness. And the reason that it's emptiness is because you are out here drifting. And if you're out here drifting through life, it's because you have a void. And that void will not get filled until you start operating in your purpose. Rick Warren wrote one of the greatest books in the world, Purpose-Driven Life. And he gives you some clear principles for that. In case you don't know, there are principles for everything you do. Money has principles, people. If you don't take care of your money, it will continuously leave you. It will not stay, because you will not have respect for it. It will not stay. Nothing that you do will grow from it. If it grows, it's not going to be on anything solid, because you don't observe the principles of money. It's the same thing with your intimate partner and in your relationship. You have to have purpose. You can't just go around where you can, dating and sleeping with people without purpose. Intimacy is not to be confused with the climax of the relationship. No pun intended. Intimacy is just an added ingredient for that. It's just a way that you express it. Sexual intimacy. The real intimacy is that knowing that who you involved with have your back and you have theirs. And it's nothing I got to look around or under the cover or peruse your phone or go through your drawers when you're not at home looking for something. People, talk back to me in here. So, when we are trying to find our purpose, it's right in front of you. It always has been. It never left you. The reason that you can't find your purpose is because you don't believe the simple things that they say do to start walking and fulfilling in your purpose. Everything you do is all about you. I had somebody to tell me, well, that's what I work for. I said, no, that's not why you work. It's not why you work. Because at any moment, you could be a paraplegic in a wheelchair, then what? Then what? It happens every day. Then what? What if your job closed down? Then what? Everything that you own, everything that you tied to is tied into that. Then it's gone. Then what about you? You empty, right?
Because all of those things validated you. It cannot be substance of things and people to validate you. You have to validate you. So, if you're a mechanic, you got to be the best mechanic in the world. And every now and then, you're going to have to fix some cars for free. Or you're going to have to get some kind of class or some kind of course to teach young men or maybe young women or whoever it is how to work on cars. Yes. Yes. You are charged to do that because there are people less fortunate that can't afford to get their car fixed. When they come to you, you're going to have to give stuff away. And don't you know that the more you give away, the more God sends back to you? When I tell you, the more you give away, God sends back to you. You don't have to believe me. Try it. The more you give away, the more God sends back to you. And that's just like love. It took me a long time to figure that out. I could not keep love. I could not keep a relationship. Because I was going into the relationship for the wrong reason. I was going into the relationship because I had to have me some eye candy and a boo thing on my arm. And it get cold in the wintertime. So I need to have somebody in the bed with me. No purpose. No purpose. Bad intention. But I want something good to come out of it. It's not going to work. God going to stand and look at me and go, and she's sitting. And she's singing all these prayers up here. Hey, honey, put it over there. We gonna hold on to that, because if I give it to her, she gonna mess it up anyway. So let me keep her soul, I won't say soulmate, let me keep who I got for her out of her life right now. Because she gonna mess it up. Because she don't know how to treat people. She hadn't developed the mental attitude yet to understand that when you give it, it comes back. When you give it, if it does not come back, then you can already recognize that this is not what I'm looking for. And you can gladly get your little bag and walk off. Because remember, you got to get married to who? To who? Yourself. If you can commit to that degree to you, then how in the world can somebody else show up and knock you off your game or your throne or what it is that you're trying to do in life? And once you pray, because we all know what it is that we like to do and what we want to do. Remember, David said we're scared, right? Because I can undoubtedly ask somebody in here right now, what it is that you want to do with your life. Are you doing it? Are you doing it? Hello? When you wake up and your feet hit the floor in the morning, you go like this, yes, I'm ready to go to work.
Yeah.
Huh? We have to.
Oh, that's good.
Life is too short. Life is too short. Life is too short. It's too short. For some of us, instead of living, we just existing.
Wow.
And you get to a point where I refuse to exist. I know that there are things, and I know that God got something bigger. Because everything that I do now, I do it consciously and intentionally with everything. Everything. So, as I wrap up today, those were my nuggets. And if you don't believe me, read your Bible, King Solomon. It's in Kings, it's in 2 Corinthians, and also in the 72 Psalms, the prayer. Read about Moses and the things that he did. But you got to think now, because it's not going to spill everything out. You know, the Bible got rules and valleys and peaks and things and hidden secrets in it. So it causes you to think. It's a thought-provoking book. questions. Well, that's my time. We're gonna bring up ideas.
Check. So give it up for Gwen one more time. Fall in love with yourself. Touch your neighbor, say neighbor. Fall in love with myself. All over again. We'll take a 2-minute break. Wash your hands, restroom. We're gonna bring up Dwayne. He's gonna knock us out the box. We'll peel back your layers. Story of trauma, grace, and triumph. You can copy your book also from him. So 2-minute break. We'll be out of here. All right. And also, he's in the magazine with the 3 people on the front and the Pride edition. He has an article in those 2 magazines.